Hey, welcome everyone to this second tutorial. We're gonna expand on what we already had from our first tutorial. So eventually we're gonna have a complete patch. This is the same patch, I just rearranged the modules to make room for our second tutorial. So the first thing we're gonna implement is a trigger sequencer. Because in our first patch, we triggered our kick and our hi-hats with our clock. But that's normally not how we do it. Normally we do that through a trigger sequencer. So first connect the trigger sequencer with our clock multiplied by 4. So this becomes a 4-step per beat sequencer. And let's also connect it to the reset output of our clock. And now let's program it on the beats. And as you can see on the beats, there is a vertical line to help us to see where the beats are. So let's listen how it sounded before. And let's connect our beat with the trigger sequencer. Alright, that sounds the same. Now let's do the same for our hi-hats. Let's program them first. Alright. And let's connect them straight to the mixer, to the trigger sequencer. And let's listen. Alright. Now if we want a little bit more control over our hi-hats, we also gonna send them through a Bernoulli gate. And with this Bernoulli gate, if we set the knobs all the way to the left, they will 100% be triggered. So let's see. Now if you want a little less open hi-hats, alright, now we have more control over our hi-hats. Something like this is good so. So alright, let's go on to the next thing. In our first tutorial, we created constantly different sounds by changing the waveforms of our oscillators through a low frequency oscillator. So the sound constantly changes. We can also do that through another method. That's the following. We take an oscillator that has all the different waveforms going out, and there are many oscillators that have those options. So now we can choose different waveforms, put them into a mixer and let them mix. And we can control the volumes through a low frequency oscillator. So sometimes some waveforms are going down, sometimes they are up, sometimes they are both down, sometimes they are both up. So let's mix the waveforms through a low frequency oscillator. The ones we already have. Let's make sure that every sound is glued together if we use things we already have going on. So now we're gonna have to use the quantizer, and a sample and hold. All right. And let's use the first row of our sequencer. And let's trigger it with the third row of our trigger sequencer. Let's send this through our quantizer, from the quantizer to the volt per octave input of our oscillator. Now choose 2 waveforms. You can choose 3, 4 waveforms, whatever you want, but I'm going to use 2 waveforms. And now, normally, we send it through a voltage controlled amplifier and an envelope generator, but there are also modules that have those built inside. So now we're going to use one of those. And we're going to give it the oscillator from our mixed waveform. And we're going to trigger it with our third row. And let's set some, all right, and see how it sounds like. It's a bass filter, this module, which has an envelope generator inside and also a filter. Oops, excuse me. And it has 2 options for the trigger. So let's listen what's the difference. And of course we can also modulate this with these knobs. We can modulate the cutoff, the resonance, the decay, and the envelope. So let's do that. Let's modulate it with what we already have. Something like that. And of course, if you like it more shorter, put it shorter. Put it some octaves slower maybe. But I like it more like that. Oops. It's gone. All right. And let's try it through the effect a moment. Alright. That's already something. So you can see let's see what comes out of this mixer through the scope. So we can see what waves it makes. Alright. Let's implement another voice. This module, excuse me, is a clone of mutable instruments plates with much more modulation options. It has 8 percussion sounds in the red colors. Those are percussion sounds, and 8 not percussion sounds, more like piano sounds, bells, clocks, whatnot. So let's listen to that. That's also let's duplicate our quantizer. And we here got an option 3 in our sample and hold. So let's take also first row. Let's trigger it with the next row on our trigger sequencer and program it already, maybe. Like that. Next thing, we go to our quantizer, to our volt per octave input from our oscillator, and let's trigger it with the same row. Listen how it sounds like. Alright, now I'm gonna change this and send this through the effect. Alright, maybe 1 map less. And now let's go through the different sounds for a little moment. You can modulate the sounds with all different knobs. Next, as you can hear, there are many great sounds in this module. Hard to choose which one we are gonna take. This one is also really great. This one also. notes. I'll take this one down. Oh, the last one is a little bit strange. Now let's go to the percussion sounds. Not bad. Sounds also nice. As you can see, that is a really great module. Alright, let's choose something. Let's modulate those knobs with what we already have. Alright, this gives us already something. Constantly changing sounds. And we can always take the sound a little bit out for a moment if we want. And change the hi-hats a bit. change node. And as you can see, this gives us already something nice, constantly changing. And I think I'm gonna leave it with this for now, because otherwise it's gonna be too much. Alright. Thank you for watching, and see you next time when we're gonna probably finish this patch. Alright, thank you, bye.